everyone. What we're making today is Swedish meatballs. We are serving ours over egg noodles, but you can serve it with mashed potatoes if you'd like. So here I have 1 pound total of ground beef. This package is 12 ounces and then that's 4. And then underneath there I have a little over a pound of ground pork. We're gonna need some flour, some beef stock, breadcrumbs, Worcestershire sauce, black pepper, some salt, parsley, allspice nutmeg, garlic powder, onion powder. We're gonna need some milk along with some heavy cream. We're gonna need some sour cream, some beef bouillon, Parmesan cheese, Dijon mustard, some butter. Since we're using the egg noodles, we got some of those. I have 3 garlic cloves here, 1 egg, and then I have an onion here that we'll be dicing up. So what I'm gonna do is clear off the stove and then I'll be back to show you what we do first. I have about a tablespoon of olive oil in my pan here. And I went ahead and chopped up my onion pretty fine and then minced up my garlic as well. First thing we're gonna do is add our onion to our pan. And we wanna cook this onion until it is soft and translucent. And then we'll add the garlic towards the end of that process. Our onion is soft, so go ahead and add your garlic. We're gonna cook this for about 3 minutes. You just wanna stir occasionally just so it doesn't burn. Once it is done, once those 3 minutes are up, what you're gonna do is just turn off the heat and we're gonna remove this pan from the heat because we want it to cool down a bit. In my bowl here, I have my 1 egg, which I did whisk, and I also have some black pepper. I would say at least a half teaspoon of black pepper. And then over here, I have 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, a half teaspoon of salt. I have 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, about 3/4 cup of our breadcrumbs. Back here I have 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese, and then in this measuring cup back here I have 1/3 cup of milk plus 1/3 cup of heavy whipping cream, and then I have our cooled down onions and garlic here. So what we're going to do now, we're going to add all of these ingredients to our egg and we're going to give it a mix. Once these are all combined, go ahead and add your ground beef and your pork. I'm gonna need my other hand to empty out the onions and garlic, but once you do that, just give it a stir and then go ahead and add your meats. Just wanted to show y'all what it looks like before I add the ground beef and the pork. I did have to add a little bit more of the breadcrumbs. The mixture was just a little bit too wet, so if you have to add a little bit more, go ahead and do that. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put some gloves back on and we're gonna just roll them into meatballs. You can roll them as big or as small as you'd like. Once all of the meatballs are rolled, we're gonna go ahead and get a pan, grab some olive oil, put a little bit of olive oil in the pan, and we're gonna brown up the meatballs. I have another pan here with an additional 1 tablespoon of olive oil. So you're gonna go ahead and just start browning up your meatballs. What you're gonna do is just go in and turn them occasionally. Okay, I got my first set of meatballs done, and I'm just putting them in a 300-degree oven just to keep them warm until the remainder of my meatballs are done. I have all the meatballs in the oven just keeping warm while we do the sauce. To my pan that we cooked the meatballs in, I just added 6 tablespoons of butter. If you have an excess of grease in your pan before you add the butter, you can just go ahead and drain it out. Next, I have 6 tablespoons of flour here. So we're going to add that right into the butter. And we're just going to continually stir this for about 3 minutes or so. And then in the meantime, I do have about 2.5 cups of our beef stock. I have 1/2 cup of our sour cream. And then I have our beef bouillon out as well. So I'll be back to show you what we do next. It's been cooking for 3 minutes, so now what you're going to do is slowly add in your beef stock. I'm just going to add a little bit at a time and stir it. You're going to do that until all of your beef stock is incorporated into the pan. To this, we're going to add 1 heaping spoonful of our better than bouillon beef base. And this sauce will thicken up. I just turned up the heat a little bit and it will thicken as it heats up. Next, we're going to add about 2 teaspoons of our Worcestershire sauce and give that a good mix. Next, we're going to add about 2 teaspoons of our Dijon mustard. Give that a good mix. Okay, I moved my sour cream to a bowl because sour cream can curdle. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a little spoonful of this mixture and pour it right into the sour cream and give it a good mix. So now we can go ahead and add our sour cream into our mixture here. and just give it a good mix. And I did just turn the heat down to low. Our sauce is done. Just took the meatballs out of the oven as well. So just go ahead and place your meatballs right in the sauce. Once I place all the meatballs in my sauce, I'm gonna go ahead and start my water for my egg noodles. Now, egg noodles do not take very long at all. So I'm just gonna let these guys hang out in my sauce. Go ahead and cook your egg noodles according to the back of the package. And then I'll be back to show you what we do next. What you also want to do is, I do have the heat on low, so you just want to keep it on low while you're cooking the noodles and or your mashed potatoes, and then just spoon the sauce over each meatball as well. I wanted to mention that before I added the meatballs, I did add a little bit more of the beef stock just to get it to the consistency that I like it at. So keep that in mind. If you wanted to thin it out a little bit, you definitely can. Second of all, when it sits here, regardless if the heat is on low, it will start to form a little skin on it. So what I do occasionally is just go in and move things around, move the meatballs around a bit, and then spoon the sauce over the meatballs. And I'm actually going to switch burners here because this burner takes a while because it's smaller. And I did salt my pasta water as well. Okay, I have my noodles going here, and I do have 2 tablespoons of butter as well. So once the noodles are done, drop that heat a little bit before it spills out over. Once the noodles are done, I'm cooking mine al dente according to the back of the package. What you're gonna do is drain them as usual in a strainer, and then you're gonna put 2 tablespoons of butter in your pan. And then once the noodles are drained, you're gonna return them to the pan and just toss the noodles in the butter. I'm draining my noodles, and I just added my 2 tablespoons of butter, and you can leave it off the heat because once we put the noodles back in here, it's gonna be hot enough to melt this butter. Toss my noodles in the butter. Just turn the heat off on my meatballs. We have our parsley here. What I'm gonna do is get this plated up. We keep this separate because we're gonna be reheating it for leftovers. So all you do is put either your egg noodles down and then the meatballs with some of the sauce on top, and then you top it with parsley. Or if you're using mashed potatoes, you would use mashed potatoes instead of the noodles. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these plated up, and then we'll be back to give it a taste. It is done. Yummy. Time to give it a taste. That's good.
Really good.
Tasty.
The flavor of the sauce is nice. Meatballs are good.
Nice and moist. Delicious. Well worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
Y'all have to make this recipe. Delicious.
I don't know if I've ever actually officially had this myself.
Really?
Yeah.
One more bite. We hope y'all enjoy this video. And if you make it, please let us know how you like it. We hope you have a great day and a great rest of your week. And we will see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.